Hello there, and welcome to another YouTube channel. My name is Luxsunny. In case you guys don't know, I am a trying to be creative YouTuber here. I like to blog about my art, personal life stuff, and some, college stuff as well. But, because I'm trying to get that master's program in the art department. It's called an MFA, I believe. But yeah, anyways, so I have a dirty little secret that is not so secretive, if I'm being quite honest, but to a lot of people it seems to be very surprising. So for today, if you haven't noticed, it's kind of already in the thumbnail. So I have an obsession with this pairing. It is Shadamy. Yeah, I know, totally not a surprise. So if you guys actually have been following me since the beginning, I've actually made some Shadamy videos to start off my YouTube career, I guess you could say. I just posted them and made them because I really enjoyed making them. They're they're cute. Like, I don't know, like they're adorable, right? So anyways, it was like my favorite pairing ever, and it was, I think, like one of my first ships I've ever really like found out, oh, a ship means you put these two together, right? And they have this amazing chemistry. So, and I got questioned a lot because people told me, well, wait a second, why are they a pair? Why do you ship them if they barely interact with each other? And I counterintuitively have made a list of the interactions and told them so and so, saying that, well, I don't want to get into too much details because it's exactly what I'm going to do with you guys today. I am going to show you guys why and how my obsession started. And fun fact, which I'm going to show you when we're going through the sketchbook view, but so it's the first one. I actually started off my art career drawing Sonic themed characters, specifically Shadamy comics. Yeah, they are horrendous to look at, I know. My proportions are off, my designs are off, but I really wanted to do like comics, and one of my goals was always to like become a Sonic comic artist, but we all know it's not gonna happen because I'm already at this age and I don't think it's gonna get any further than this, to be honest, with my art career. But yeah, no, anyways, so my art did really start just drawing up Shadow and Amy all the time, and to be honest, it was like I drew them more often because I just felt motivated, I guess you could say, to be drawing them more, since at that time I was just really I was really into the Sonic series, because they weren't the only ones I drew. I also drew, what's it called, Sonic as well, and I would also draw Sally Acorn, which is at the time Sonic's girlfriend, but we're gonna get into that heated discussion later because I know some of y'all might be Son Surge fans, but sorry to say I am a Sonily fan because I have I'm true and tried to the comics, so yeah, but we'll get into that in a bit. But anyways, so that's kind of how I started with both my art career, and then my one of the little things I started doing with Shadamy, it just, that was the reason, I guess you could say, that escalated my art career. But anyway, so what we're really going to go into now is how it started. So for those of you that might know me, I actually love reading the comics. So there's a specific comic that really, really gave me the, oh yeah, this is my ship. It's called Treasure Team Tango. This was actually written by Ian Flynn himself, who happens to also, he had mentioned back in the one of the interviews, I can't remember, a long time ago, stating that he cannot support any ship pairings, but if he had to choose, it would be Shadamy, just because he felt like the chemistry was there. So ever since then I was like, hell yeah, let's go, yeah, let's go. But anyways, so I can't find the video for that, and I'm kind of annoyed because I think they might have taken it down because...
From Peacock Queen: forgetting Sonic, Rouge, and Omega for a moment, how does Shadow see Tails, Amy, Knuckles, and the others? Does he have a soft spot for someone in particular, or does he treat everyone with the same indifference?
I mean, outwardly it's the same indifference. If you're not in his way, you don't matter. I would like to think that there is some degree of trust. He knows they're not going to cause trouble. If he runs into them, he knows that they have the best intentions, I'd like to think.
We know he has something of a soft spot for Cream, right?
Depends on what I can get away with.
And Amy. Like, I would say
like to think
maybe those two. Maybe.
I like to think that he trusts Amy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to outwardly say it, and he won't necessarily... we joke about it all the time, and it was fun to see in Murder Of, but I don't think he's going to outwardly express it, but I think of anybody, if someone's going to say, Shadow, you need to stop and listen for a half second, like, the only person that would actually work with is Amy.
Yeah. I mean, Amy hugged him, and it almost fixed him. Almost. So...
Reassuring physical contact? I haven't felt this since...
No!
I've only known her for 5 minutes, but if anything happens to her, I'll destroy the world and everyone in it.
That's about right.
Shadow, don't do that. Okay.
But only because you said so.
It's like the same situation where, Ian Flynn believes that Silver is the descendant of Shadow and Amy, which means that's pro Shadamy, and people were super heated up about that. So if you're one of the new gens and you're seeing Silver being the son of Shadow and Amy in certain comics, well, guess what? That was actually Ian Flynn's doing. Ian Flynn actually announced that he believed that Silver was a descendant of Shadow and Amy. But it didn't specifically clarify that he was the son. He just said descendant. So people also assumed that Sonic and Amy hooked up and then their kid ended up with Shadow. But that's too much of a headache. So most people just kind of took it as, Shadow and Amy, right? Not really, Shadow's daughter. But if you actually have seen some of the comics like that, now you know. But anyways, yeah, so... Ian happens to be one of my favorite writers as well when it comes to the Sonic comics. He actually transferred from Archie Comics all the way to the new Modern Comics, and I'm super happy for him. So here's a couple of examples where he actually written some pretty good stuff from Treasure Team Tango. Some of these are really great. So one of the one is actually where Amy is trying to motivate the heck out of Shadow, trying to tell him hey, you're better than this. You could do better. Listen to yourself. And, his grumpy self is like, ugh, I don't need any of this. But if you noticed, Amy keeps kind of grabbing onto Shadow. Usually she's not that grabby towards people or, towards others. But she seems to really, be confident around him. And she's able to, steer him in the right direction, which I thought was really sweet. And then one of the other panels, I love the fact that this girl is so ready to throw down. Look at her. She's ready with her hammer. She's ready to beat him up. She's so confident. And then boom, Shadow takes her out immediately. So this happens twice actually, and I thought that was super hilarious. So he takes her out again in another another series. But this time he's actually carrying her, and I thought that was super cute. And I was like, yay! Shadamy love right there. So that was great. But anyways, so another part of the Treasure Team Tango is when Amy kind of told him saying, hey, you need to make up your mind. Are you going to help out Blaze, or are you going to do what GUN Gun tells you to do? And he gives this really sad look on his face, and I'm just like, oh, you poor edgelord. You need love, cuddles, and hugs right now. And then snap, not even a second later, he's like, you know what, I made up my mind, and he rushes out, and then he starts beating everybody up, specifically Jet, because it's the Babylons, they were there too, so they were in the mix. So he has this confident, happy look on his face. So we barely see Shadow looking happy because right now the Sonic team wants to keep him as edgelord. But in the Archie comics, you actually see him smile quite a bit more. And it's so refreshing to kind of have two different sides of him. But in this Archie comic, he was pretty emotional, if I'm being quite honest. They gave him a lot of emotions in this. He was able to laugh and to smile and to be sad. Most of the time you see him sad, actually. But at least he was able to smile like that. And who made him smile? Our girl Amy. That was adorable. I consider that a win. Also, so another one I believe was something with the Master Chaos Emerald where her and Knuckles went to go travel and they had to team up with Team Dark. So the cutest thing I thought was that Amy actually looked at the ship and Shadow was in the ship. So Amy's like, wow, this is so cool. And then he's like, yeah, it's cool. Okay, you're riding with us. You're teaming up with us, so you might as well ride with us. And she's like, that's cool. So they went ahead and, went to the ride. But what the cutest part was to me was inside, where she was teasing him that, oh, Sonic's adventuring around the world and Shadow must be jealous. And I was like, girl, you're intentionally teasing Edgelord here, okay? You are intentionally teasing him, and he makes this ridiculously adorable face, like a little piff kind of face. And I truly thought that was adorable. And I was like, okay, I like that interaction. But he does not, if you really look at it, he does not fight with her. He took that. He legit took that as like, poof, like nothing. Usually he kind of reacts with the whole like, I don't need your attitude, or like, I don't need to hear from you, or something quite negative. She literally says something so like about Sonic, and usually it irritates him right away. But he wasn't irritated. He was like, poof, like so cutely. Like so cutely, and I was like, okay, that's interesting, cool, right? So anyways, there's also a bunch of other stuff in the comics as well. I remember this part where it was from Sonic X. If you guys recognize the show, there was a comic to that where Eggman was actually in love with the nanny, I believe, for Chris's estate or something like that, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, but not the point. So there was one part where for some reason, Shadow forgot his memories, blah, 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 whole ordeal thing going on. But anyways, he kind of freaked out with Cream's mother, I believe, and he ended up on Amy's arms, and Amy was like, hey, yeah, she's pretty ruthless or something like that. And I was like, that's pretty adorable. I always have put that out, and people are like, nope, that's fake. No, that's actually part of the comics. And I'm like, yeah, that's part of the comics. So, yeah, why not? So, if we're talking about now video games. So, for video games, if you guys have ever played Shadow the Hedgehog, then you know the route you take when you stumble across Amy is... It's honestly accurate. It is accurate. And it's also very interesting what they chose to call that route. So when you meet Amy, she's going to be asking you to help her out with Cream, and you have the choice to either ignore her to go to the basically the evil side, or you have the other option to be a hero and you're going to help her out. So Shadow makes a kind of a comment. He's like, okay, he makes this adorable comment saying that why is he even doing this, and he did it for Amy. And I was like, oh, like cute, you know, like why was he doing this? Obviously, it's because Amy kind of told him, and he doesn't even know why, which is pretty cute, if I'm being honest. It's kind of like a whole, like, I have a crush on you thing, but I don't know how to express it, you know? But if you take that route, and once you finish it, it's called Miracle of Love. And I thought that was so sweet. Like, that is so precious, and that is a total W for Shadamy Heart fans out there. And I was like, yes! We were actually recently playing this a while ago, and I took that route just to see if it was true. It's true. It's called Miracle of Love. Sega can't take that away from us. Not anymore.
I arrived at the doctor's castle, and I ran into Amy. She was looking for Cream, who was missing. I didn't have any reason to help her, but since I was looking for the doctor anyway, I figured. Anyway, I've wasted enough time already. I need to track down the doctor at once.
So, there's also another part in the Shadow the Hedgehog game where he said that he kind of was making this whole thing where, oh, I'm making this I'm also doing this for Maria, but I don't, like, I'm making this for Amy too, or something like that. I thought that was nice. So, in SA2, which is Sonic Adventure Battle 2. Shit, wait, I messed that up. Anyways, so in SA2, we're gonna go with that. I'm so sorry. So in SA2, when you reach to the colony arc where Amy's kind of trying to look for the boys, she ends up stumbling across Shadow, where Shadow's looking down on Earth. And there is a lot of fan art about this out there when it comes to Shadow and Amy, as in, like, there's a lot of fan art where it's like, oh, maybe this was the start of the best, like, friendship or relationship that could possibly happen. I highly agree. This is also another theory where Shadow believes that Amy is just like Maria. And if we're gonna go through this whole thing, Maria and Shadow were family. It's also in the movie where they are family. And the only person that's closest to Maria would definitely be Amy. They're both sweet, they're both understanding, The only thing is, I think Amy has more of a feisty attitude, but other than that, she's basically like as similar to Maria. We all know what happens. Amy basically convinces Shadow to stop doing what he's doing. The people of the Earth are innocent, blah blah blah, and he ends up saying the sweetest thing ever. He's like, I gotta keep my promise to Maria and you. Then she's kind of like, what kind of promise? It's funny because it doesn't even say like, oh, I'm gonna make my promise to you. It's just, he just blurts it out. He doesn't even tell her. He's like, nope, I'm just gonna say I made my promise. And I'm like, interesting. Very interesting. But I thought that was still really cute, and it was kind of romantic in a way, in my opinion. So, if you guys have played Sonic Racers, this one's super cool as well. So, this game is undeniably fun. I have played this game so much, especially with my hubby. We always play the same kind of characters, actually. Sometimes I'm Blaze and he'll be the Silver. Sometimes I'll be Amy and he'll be the Shadow. If I'm Sonic, he'll be Shadow. If I'm Vector, he'll be Eggman or whatever. And we kind of like to go with a little rivals theme or something like that. So anyways, since this is actually how we found out Shadow and Amy have very special dialogues, because all the characters have special dialogues towards one another, and it's super interesting. And I love that about the game because it's not always just generic. They actually have dialogue with each other. So some of the dialogue is what you see down here.
Shadow, play nice.
Not very ladylike, Amy.
How'd you like that, Shadow?
Rock this all day, Amy.
I know, so some of this is super hilarious. My favorite one had to have been when Shadow would comment, "That's not very ladylike, Amy." That was definitely my favorite one, if I'm gonna be quite honest. That was super funny. So there's also another one where Amy's like, "Hey Shadow, play nice." And they're just so funny. They're honestly super funny. So if you guys have ever seen Sonic Boom, this is like a small little hint, if I'm being quite honest. It's nothing too major, but I thought it was really adorable when Shadow was going up against the team, and then when he was fighting, he didn't really talk to anybody except for Tails with the whole fox hunting thing, because I guess they want to make him edgy. It wasn't really like a whole conversation or anything, which I was like, damn, okay. He just keeps hearing our boy Tails. But anyways, so there was a part where when he was up against Amy, I thought it was a little obvious from the team, because I was like, wait a second. Eggman's got a point here. So Shadow had said, "Is that all you got?" And Amy responded, and I was like, okay. Eggman was right on that cue. I would have loved to seen that in a video game. Honestly, Eggman or Sega, you should have done that. It would have been so funny. Especially because Amy is not afraid to throw down. Like I said, our girl is so fearless. You get it, fearless. She is so fearless. She's not afraid to throw down against Shadow. And everybody kind of is. Because in that show, Sonic is also afraid to fight him because it's not necessary. But, there's a difference between being afraid and fighting for it being unnecessary. So, yeah. So, okay. So, before we freak out. Because, this is getting long. And I don't know if you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from. But anyways, so, just to re-clarify, my obsession came from the Archie comics. I've been reading the Archie comics way before that. But it's been more towards the beginning, before, I guess what you could say when Ken Penders was writing it. But Ken Penders is trash, and we cancel him out. I don't like Feet Guy. We don't like him here. Especially because he was the downfall to Sonic, and I don't appreciate that. Ian was the one that actually recovered Sonic, especially because his characters were not sexualized or disturbing, Ian Flynn and I would say Tracy Yardley, because Tracy Yardley's the best. Oh man, they're such a great duo. I really do like them. But anyways, so on to the next part. So last but not least, what we're gonna talk about is the talks. So we're having Twitter takeovers now, and they're so freaking good. They are playing both sides, and I really like that. Oh, I forgot to mention, so for, I believe, the Sonic Boom episodes that came with Shadow, the only person they trusted to create Shadow's character within the range of their, rules was actually Ian Flynn. So Ian Flynn was in charge of the Shadow character, which I believe is great. Although I'll admit Shadow Boom is one of the least liked Shadow characters I personally kind of agree too, because he's too edgy for no apparent reason, you know, and yeah, that's not cool. But anyways, yeah, so Ian Flynn wrote that, and which was really cool. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, back to the other one. So I would say lastly would be, the Twitter takeovers. We have a lot of nice goodness out of them right now, especially with the whole Shadow and Amy went to a concert together, and now they're going to another concert together, which is Sabrina Carpenter. I was like, whoa, needed. This is so adorable. Like, I really appreciate that as well. So that was pretty cute, if I'm being quite honest. And honestly, I feel like it's not going to be the last time either. So we're definitely going to add some more stuff on there, you know, we're definitely going to get some more stuff out of there. And I'm hoping so, because it would be really funny to see all the, like, the videos and interactions from artists, like, drawing them out and things like that. So that'd be really great. I also have this one clip where I feel like so many Shadamy fans were heartbroken that day. And I know that because some of my friends they're both. They're just one. So, but they're mostly Shadamy fans. So this is an official clip in audio, by the way, by Ian Flynn himself. So we're gonna go ahead and post that down here.
Only person that would actually work with is Amy.
Yeah. I mean, Amy hugged him, and it almost fixed him. Almost. So...
Reassuring physical contact? I haven't felt this since...
No!
I've only known her for 5 minutes, but if anything happens to her, I'll destroy the world and everyone in it.
That's about right.
Shadow, don't do that. Okay.
But only because you said so.
Yeah, right? That clip is so freaking good. I was like, yes, he would destroy the world for her. And I love that that's canon. It's great. Especially because that kind of ties into Sonic Adventure 2, you know, where he's like, you know what? I'll save the world for you. And it's like, you know what? Never mind. I'll burn the damn world for you. It's like, that's funny. So, yeah. I cannot take both sides. I can only take the one side. I understand that people tell me Shadamy's not my, the best endgame or something, and I told them, if you really think about it, I'm going to start going more into detail here, so if you really think about it, I feel like Shadow is kind of negative, and he just doesn't have family anymore, and the only thing he barely has is Team Dark. Well, he has Team Dark, and that's his family as of now, but it's not like a close relationship like he had with Maria. But yeah, so that was great, right? So yeah, I understand. But anyways, so that's kind of how I started my obsession with Shadamy. It was mainly through the comics and the video games, if I'm being honest. Mainly probably, I wouldn't say the show, honestly, because I watched Sonic X after I read the comics. The first ever comic I truly bought was Treasure Team Tango. And I know it's kind of afterwards, but I would say like Treasure Team Tango is where my heart started, and I was just obsessed with it. And Treasure Team Tango came out like so long ago, and it's been years already. But I love that comic, and that's kind of what inspired me more to do more Sonic art comic. And ever since then, I just really fell in love with Shadamy. But yeah, no, I really think Amy would be the positivity to Shadow because he really desperately needs it because he's kind of a baby in a way, so I just feel like they would fit really well together. But anyways, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys had a great time, even if you just wanted to listen to me chat.
I think there's been some confusion. I'm not the one in trouble here.
What?
There are only 4 of you. You'll need more than that.
I would really appreciate it because I'm trying to, get the views up and things like that. So, just a little stuff because I would really like to work on YouTube more, but, enough yamper. So, thank you so much for listening to my Shadamy YouTube rant, and hopefully we can get some more Shadamy content within the future. And if not, we got these amazing artists to kind of like come out in, like Andrax, Sakimi-chan goes by a different name now. I think it's something Cat, so unfortunately that's a different name now. And a bunch of Twitter artists I follow on as well. I forget their name at the moment, but yeah, anyways. So thank you guys for stopping by, watching, hearing me rant and things like that. So this isn't a whole anti-ship hate against Shadamy. It's I personally do not care if Shadamy was endgame. I would still love Shadamy. It's like a whole Ichigo and Rukia thing all over again. But anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later in the next time. If you want to go ahead and support me for free, go ahead and give a like, share, subscribe, whatever you want. I appreciate it. And I will be posting more, hopefully, videos soon. Yeah, but anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great time. Bye!